I swore I'd never fall for a man like Himmelder, guarded, dangerous in ways I couldn't name. But the moment his truck lights cut through the storm and his hand steadied me on that mountain road, something in me broke. He wasn't supposed to look at me like that, wasn't supposed to let his touch linger on my ribs as if my body already belonged to him. In that silence I felt every rule I'd lived by snap. His breath was close, warm, steadite shaking, like he wanted to stop but couldn't. And when our lips finally crashed, it wasn't love, it was survival raw, reckless, unforgettable. But the truth waiting behind his eyes was sharper than any kiss, a secret big enough to ruin us both. Did I step into the fire or did the fire finally find me? I didn't see the nail until the wheel yanked left and the world tilted. Gravel spat like teeth, the car slid and kissed a birch hard enough to wring my ribs. Air left me in a metal taste. The radio hissed, the dash blinked, and the road turned quiet the way a room goes quiet when someone closes a door. I stepped out on shaky legs, rear tire gone, the rim crouched crooked, ashamed of me. My phone showed a single bar, then none. Wind combed the pines like it was counting. You're fine, I told myself. I wasn't. Half a day bled out. I fought the jack, skinned my knuckles, wrapped them in a rag that turned the color of rust. The sun moved like it had somewhere better to be. Anger cooled into a dull kind of honesty. I yelled once just to hear a voice. Nothing yelled back. I tried the emergency number anyway, holding the phone to the sky like a prayer. The call failed with the same small, polite tone every time. My voicemail stacked up me manager, an unknown number. My father's clipped call me back. I didn't. I sat on the bumper and ate a stale granola bar I found in the glove box and washed it down with air that hurt. A jay screamed at me like I'd trespassed. I laughed at that, then didn't. I drafted a message. Running late, sorry, got a flat, and watched the bubbles of my own lie. I erased it, typed I don't think I can do this any more, erased that too, then shut the phone off because the truest sentence felt like starting a fire I couldn't put out. The quiet afterward was so complete it felt like a verdict. I kept thinking of the city I was supposed to reach, the life I'd promised to slide back into like a suit that had shrunk while I wasted looking. Out here, sap on my hands, collar open, something in me unlatched. The relief scared me more than the cold. Headlights finally carved the trees. A dusty green pickup slowed. The driver leaned out 40s, beard shadow, eyes the color of northern water. He studied me like a problem had solved before. You okay? He asked, voice low so the woods wouldn't spook. Define okay, I said. My mouth made it a joke, my chest didn't. He parked ahead and walked back with an unhurried gait. No swagger, no pity, just steadiness. Spare, tried it, I said. It's dead. Figures. He offered his hand. Wit even, saying it felt like opening a window. We tried anyway. He braced the jack with his boot, showed me a trick with the wrench-short, patient moves. Our shoulders bumped. Heat leaped skin to skin through winter. He didn't step away, neither did I. When the spare sagged under his thumb, he glanced at my silent phone. No service out here, town's a ways, I can take you in, shop might still be open. I looked at my car-scuffed bumper, birch dent reflected in the glass, and felt something give. I locked it. The click sounded like leaving a younger version of me behind. His cab smelled like pine tar and coffee. A folded flannel waited on the bench. He tossed it to me without looking. You're shaking. I'm fine, I said, holding the warmth anyway. Our knees brushed as I slid in. The contact was accidental, then not. The road gathered us and breathed. Been out there long? He asked. Since morning. He caught my torn knuckles in a glance, then turned my palm a little, steady fingers reading the scrape like a map. Hurts, it's loud, I said. Pain usually is. He let go. The absence of his hand felt like new air in the cab. He nodded toward a gap in the trees. There's a turnout with a view. Helps some people. I need more than a view. The words slipped out before I could cage them. He killed the headlights, night pressed close. I could hear his breath, mine answered it. I was supposed to be someone else by now, I said to the windshield. How's that going? I laughed once, jagged. Here could be worse places. His arm rested along the seat back. Our shoulders nearly touched. I breathed deeper, we did touch. Electricity is the polite word for it. You hungry? He asked. Diner 20 minutes down. Pie that remembers your name. I nodded. It felt like saying yes to more than dinner. He shifted into gear. The moment followed us, quiet but awake. Shops after town, he said, mountains beyond that. If your day's already wrecked, sometimes the fix is a different horizon. I watched his hand on the shifter. Tendons moved like small cables. I made a small choice that felt large. If the shop's closed, I said, would you keep going, up there? I tipped my chin toward the dark edge of peaks. I don't want to go back yet. He looked at me fully then, as if taking inventory and finding nothing he wanted to return. We'll see what the day gives, he said, voice lower. I don't leave people stranded. The sign for town flashed Bitwo names 1 arrow. He passed it. Shop's the other way, I said. I know. His thumb tapped the wheel twice. Sky clears faster over the ridge. He glanced at my hands, the borrowed flannel. You look like a man who could use a view that hurts in the right places. Below, a gas pump's lonely neon blinked like an eye we were ignoring. My throat tightened, part fear, part want. The mixture felt reckless and right. I should have stopped him. I didn't. The cab felt warmer than it should. For the first time since the tire blew, my breath went all the way to the bottom. He didn't touch me again. He didn't need to. The road climbed, so did everything in me I'd been keeping down. At the first switchback, he said, buckle up, not for the road. I did. I stayed, and I didn't ask where we were going. He kept the truck climbing until the trees thinned, and the road ran like a scar over pale rock. The valley shrank behind us. I watched Whit's profile in steadlines made by use, not softness. A hand on the wheel like it had earned quiet. Second thoughts? He asked. Only 40, I said. He smiled. It landed low. At a turnout, he cut the engine. Silence pressed, but it wasn't empty. It was every word I hadn't said in years. You said you needed more than a view, he said. I was supposed to be in Billings by noon, I answered. Handshakes, the right words, the old suit. How's it fit? Like someone else's skin. I rubbed my scraped knuckles. Blood had framed the cuts. Whit popped the glove box, opened a furse, Dade Kit on his knee. Give me your hand. He cleaned the scrape slow, the way some men fix fences. Alcohol stung. His thumb steadied me. I felt warmth through his calluses. You always this helpful to strangers. I don't like watching people bleed, he said. Besides, you don't look like trouble. I am. Slipped out. He looked up. I looked away. He wrapped my knuckles with wintergreen tape, then didn't let go immediately. His breath touched my wrist, then he cleared his throat. Town's over the ridge. Harlan's shop if he's open, and if he's not, then we eat. Pie's worth lying for. The ridge fell, and a small town gathered around a single light. A hand-painted diner sign creaked. Inside, chrome, red booths, coffee that had lived a life. Whit, the woman behind the counter said, warming on his name. Who's the stray? Evin, I said. Flat tire, bad judgment. Joe, she said. Sit. Coffee appeared like permission. Whit ordered the special and an extra plate without asking. Our knees found each other under the table. We didn't apologize. Harlan's around, Joe added, casual. Tanner saw his truck. Whit's jaw worked. Good. Tanner, I asked. Local choir of one, Whit said. He sings what isn't his. The bell chimed. A camo cap scanned us, paused on the space between our knees, smiled without kindness. His phone rose, a shutter clicked, soft as a pin through fabric. Whit's hand found the table edge. Eat, he said. Gentle, final, I ate. My hands stopped shaking by the second bite. Joe slid pie at us we hadn't ordered. Her fingers brushed my taped knuckles. Roads take what they want, she said. Take a little back. Harlan's shop was open just long enough to mount a used tire and call me sweetheart for breaking down on a weekday. Whit paid before I could. He did it like ending a small argument with the world. Outside, bars returned to my phone like reluctant friends. A voicemail from my father hovered, sharp as a hook. I could have called. I didn't. I slid the phone face down. A micro-choice landed, headed back. Harlan asked. I looked at Whit. He didn't answer for me. He waited. Not yet, I said. We left pavement for a narrow road that climbed towards something he knew, and I didn't. Fire rode up to a trailhead, he said. You wanted air. What if I wanted company more? Then you said the right thing. The truck jostled. My shoulder leaned into his on a bounce and stayed longer than it needed to. He parked at a chained gate and killed the engine. Up there's a ridge nobody bothers with, he said. 2 miles, you up for it? I've been up for it since the nail. He passed me water. Our fingers grazed, sparks enough. We walked, gravel to dirt, dirt to a path cut by boots and animals that didn't ask permission. He set a steady pace, I matched it. When the grade steepened, he reached back without looking, and I took his hand. It wasn't about falling, it was about not wanting to let go. Halfway up he stopped. My breath found his collar. His free hand went to my ribs as if to steady me, and forgot to retreat. The world narrowed to the careful way we didn't move. "You okay?" he asked. "No," I said. "But I like who I am here." He nodded like the hill had asked the same thing. We climbed the rest without speaking, our silence a new language. At the ridge the world opened. I watched his face change when he looked out. Softness stole in. He turned back, searching my eyes for something he seemed half afraid to find. His fingers were still on my ribs. He didn't test the line, he honored it, waiting for my yes. I gave it without a word, leaned an inch, then another. He met me in the small space where choice becomes decision, not a kiss, not yet, a shared breath, a kept promise we hadn't made. Far below, a truck engine echoed on the road we'd left. Up here, it was only us and the steady pound of a heart I finally recognized as mine. "Tomorrow," he said against my cheekbone, voice low enough to hide there, "if you want more than a view, well, come back." "I do," I said. I already did. Tanner didn't put the phone down. New in town, he asked the air, eyes still on the screen. "Just passing through," I said. "Some places don't like being passed," he replied, finally looking like he was measuring what would break first. Witt's jaw ticked once. Joe set a sugar caddy between us with more weight than sugar needed. "Eat your food, Tanner," he smirked. "Just being friendly. Try quieter," she said. Then to me, softer, "People here remember things longer than they should. Don't give them anything worth polishing." Witt brushed my knee under the table, a warning and a comfort. Heat climbed my throat, I willed it down. The room had small eye spoons, chrome, a clock that didn't help so. The trail narrowed until we had to walk single file. My boots slid on loose gravel, and every time I slipped, Witt's hand found my back. He never said anything, just steadied me and kept moving, his warmth burning through my shirt longer than the touch lasted. When we reached the ridge, wind slapped my face sharp as glass. The view stretched into nothingness, miles of trees bleeding into mountains. I should have been looking at it, but my eyes stayed on him. The way his chest rose under flannel, the way his hair caught the light and made him look younger, then older in the same second. He set down his pack, uncapped the thermos head carried, and poured coffee into the lid. He offered it first. My fingers brushed his as I took it, too brief but not accidental. I drank. The coffee was bitter, but the warmth slid through me like courage. "You don't talk much," I said. "I talk when it matters," he answered, eyes on the horizon. "And does this matter?" He turned his head then, and the air between us thickened. His gaze landed like weight on my chest. "You tell me." I should have laughed. Instead, I held his stare until my throat dried. The silence wasn't awkward, it was alive. Every south wind, the crunch of boots on rock, my uneven breath felt magnified, like the world leaned closer to listen. We found a flat spot against the stone. He sat back against rock and motioned for me to join. My shoulder brushed his when I lowered myself. The contact was small, but it detonated something inside me. My pulse betrayed me, hammering in my ears. Witt shifted, pulling off his jacket. "You're cold. I'm fine." He draped it over my shoulders anyway. His hand lingered on the fabric near my neck. The smell of pine and smoke wrapped around me, his smell. I swallowed hard, heat rising in places I couldn't control. "You look like you haven't breathed in years," he said softly. Maybe I haven't. His hand slipped away, but the absence ached more than the touch. I wanted to pull it back, to hold it, to admit out loud the thing that had lived under my skin too long. Instead, I stared at the valley until my eyes blurred. Minutes passed like hours. Finally he spoke again, lower this time. "If I cross a line, stop me." The words struck harder than any touch. He was giving me the choice, something no one else ever had. My chest tightened. I turned toward him, slow, as if speed might shatter the moment. Our faces were closer than I realized. I could feel his breath, coffee and warmth. His eyes searched mine, waiting for a yes I was sure I had the courage to say. I didn't speak. I leaned. That was enough. Our foreheads touched first, then the briefest brush of lips so light it could have been wind. But it wasn't. It was him. His hand rose to my jaw, rough thumb against skin that burned under the gentleness. The kiss deepened, not hurried, not greedy, but like we'd both been waiting too long for it to be casual. When he pulled back, His lips hovered inches from mine, his breath trembling. "We shouldn't," he whispered. "Then don't stop," I answered, voice hoarse. He pressed his eyes shut, shook his head once, then kissed me again, harder this time, as if punishing himself for wanting. My hand clutched the flannel at his chest. His heart thudded against my palm, proof that I wasn't alone in this madness. We broke apart when the wind shifted. His hand stayed on my face, grounding me. "Tomorrow it'll hurt," he said. "Then let tomorrow wait." For the first time all day I felt whole. The morning light was harsher than the night had promised. We sat in his truck outside the diner, the world already moving around us farm trucks, kids on bikes, a sheriff's cruiser that slowed a little too long before turning the corner. Whit drummed the steering wheel. His jaw was tight, the way it had been when Tanner took that picture yesterday. He hadn't mentioned it, but the silence between us had shape now. "You're quiet," I said. "So are you, because I don't know what happens next." He shot me a look. "That makes two of us." I waited for a smile. None came. The truck suddenly felt smaller, like the cab was shrinking. Finally he said it. "I've got a family." The word landed like glass breaking. "What? Ex-wife, kid. He's 12, lives 2 towns over." His fingers flexed once on the wheel. "Didn't think it mattered if I helped you with a tire. Didn't think we'd end up here." I leaned back hard, air gone. My chest pulled tight as if a seatbelt had locked across me. "So what was last night? Real?" he said quickly. "That's the problem." Anger rose before I could stop it. "You let me." I broke off, biting down on the words. "You should've told me." His knuckles whitened. "And you think you're some clean slate. I saw the way you looked at Tanner. Hell talk if in. He talks about everyone. This town feeds on secrets, and you're already giving him a meal." It felt like a slap. "I didn't ask for any of this. You pulled me in. You kissed me." I snapped back. "You kissed me first." Silence. Our breaths were uneven, fogging the same small space. We were both right, and that was worse than either of us being wrong. I shoved the door open and stepped out. Gravel crunched, the cold biting harder than it should. He followed, voice sharp. "Running already?" "I'm not running," I said. "I'm protecting myself." His hand caught my arm, not rough but strong enough to stop me. The contact burned. Our faces were inches apart again, but this time the pull was poison, not relief. "You don't get to walk away like I'm nothing," he said. "Then don't make me regret every second." His grip faltered. I yanked free. For a heartbeat I thought he might shout, might confess something bigger. Instead he just stared, jaw trembling. The sheriff's cruiser rolled by again, slower this time. The deputy inside glanced at us, at the tension hanging like smoke. Whit stepped back, hands raised, pretending nothing was wrong. My stomach twisted. These wasn't just between us anymore. I walked toward the diner. My reflection flashed in the window, pale and tired. Jo caught my eyes from inside, reading the storm without a word. She lifted her chin, as if warning me. "Choose carefully." Behind me, Whit's truck door slammed. The engine roared. He pulled out, gravel spraying my boots. He didn't look back. I stood there, heart hammering, his flannel still around my shoulders. The warmth had faded, the smell hadn't. For the first time since the tire blew, I wished the road had left me stranded for good. The town faded behind me as I walked the cracked shoulder of the highway. Whit's taillights had burned into me, 2 red wounds disappearing into morning. I swore I wouldn't follow. I swore I'd leave this whole mess in the diner parking lot. But by nightfall, the mountain air cut through my clothes, and the silence pressed in. My phone found a single bare note to light up a voicemail. My father's voice sharp, commanding, "You're wasting your life, Ivan. Call me back when you've figured out who you are." I deleted it before it ended. My hands shook harder after. The sky turned fast, clouds swallowing the ridge. Rain came cold and sudden, slicing down my neck. I pulled the flannel tighter, his smell still clinging, and stumbled toward a line of trees. Lightning cracked somewhere too close. My boots slipped in mud, my knees slammed rock. A pair of headlights blurred through rain. A truck engine growled low. For a heartbeat I thought it was Winston Tanner's face lit in the beam, smirking through his windshield. He rolled down the window, "Need a ride?" His phone was in his hand again, camera half raised. No, he laughed slow. "Suit yourself. Folks like you don't last long out here." He snapped another picture, the flash white against storm, and drove off. My chest iced. I shoved forward, mud sucking at my boots. My body felt like lead. The rain doubled until the road blurred, and I finally collapsed against a pine trunk, gasping. Then brakes screaming, door slam, heavy boots on gravel, Evin, wit, his jacket already drenched, hair plastered to his face. He crouched beside me, breath sharp, you'll freeze. He hauled me up, arm across my ribs, dragging me toward the truck. I wanted to fight him. I couldn't. My body leaned into his, shameless in its need. His warmth was the only thing left. Inside the cab, heat roared. He pulled a blanket from the back, wrapping it around me, his hand steady at my neck. Breathe slow, you left, I rasped. I came back. His voice cracked like the thunder outside. I shut my eyes. His forehead pressed briefly to mine, just enough to anchor me. My chest heaved, a sob trying to surface, but his hand on my back steadied it into breath. For a moment it was only us. The cab steamed with heat and storm. My fingers clutched his sleeve. His eyes dropped to my mouth, and everything inside me screamed yes. He leaned a knock on the glass. We jolted apart. Tanner's camo cap leaned in the driver's window, rain streaking down his face. He tapped his phone against the glass, screen glowing with our blurred shapes inside. You two look cozy, he drawled. Bet the sheriff would love to see this. Witt's fist clenched on the wheel. Go home, Tanner. Maybe I will. Maybe I want. Tanner stepped back, lifting the phone like a trophy. Careful who you trust out here. He vanished into rain, taillights bouncing away. The cab went quiet again, except for our ragged breaths. Witt's hand hovered near mine, but didn't touch. His jaw was tight enough to break. I turned toward the window, heart pounding. The warmth between us had become a target, and I knew then, whatever was starting, the world was already against it. Witt's kitchen felt like a trap the second the door shut behind us. Rain hammered the roof, my pulse tried to match it. He tossed me a towel, but I barely caught it. I didn't need come, for I needed the truth. You keep staring at me like supposed to know what this is, I said. He turned, eyes dark, jaw locked. You think I don't, then say it. Silence. Only the storm answered. I slammed the towel on the counter. You pulled me off that road, you kept me close, and now you're choking on your own wanting. Why? Because of Tanner's camera, because of your ex-wife, because this town might whisper. His hands hit the counter so hard mugs rattled. Because I have a son, the words ripped through the room, louder than thunder. I froze. He's 12, Witt said, voice breaking now. And he deserves a father who isn't dragged into court with pictures like the one Tanner's spreading. You think I can risk him for this? He gestured at me like I was both miracle and mistake. Don't put that on me, my throat was fire. I didn't beg you to touch me on that ridge. I didn't force you to look at me like I was the only air you wanted to breathe. He stepped closer, every line of him trembling with fury and hunger. You think I can just switch it off? I wanted you the second you opened your mouth in that rain. I want you now. That's the damn problem. His chest brushed mine, my heart slammed into it like it wanted out. Then stop fighting it, I whispered. His hand caught the back of my neck, rough and desperate. His mouth crashed into my Nino gentleness, only need and anger. I clutched his shirt, pulled him harder, teeth grazing, breath stolen. It was punishment and confession at once. When he tore away, both of us gasping, he pressed his forehead to mine. This will ruin me. It's already ruining me, I shot back. And I don't care. He cursed low, almost to himself. His hand slid to my ribs, then stopped, fingers shaking like they didn't know whether to hold me or push me away. His voice dropped raw. If I let this go on, I lose him. I lose everything I've fought to keep, and if you don't, my voice cracked. You lose me? That landed. His eyes shut, jaw tight, like choosing was tearing him apart. When he opened them again, they burned. Don't make me decide. You already are. He kissed me again, harder, reckless, like he wanted to burn the choice itself. My back hit the wall, his hand braced beside my head. My body answered his before my mind could, every nerve screaming yes. For a moment I believed nothing could touch us. Then my phone buzzed on the table. I glanced, a new message. Joe, the sheriff knows. Tanner's stirring more. Watch yourself. Witt saw it, too. His face collapsed into something between rage and defeat. It's happening already, he whispered, and you don't even live here. I'll be the one paying. My stomach nodded. So what your solution is to let fear run your life, to let Tanner own us. Not us, he said, voice like a knife. Me, that word split me in half. I pushed off the wall, breathing hard. You kissed me like you meant forever. I did. His hand hovered in the air, trembling. And that's exactly why I can't keep you. Pain burned through me sharper than the storm outside. Then say it. Say I was just a mistake, so I can leave without wondering. He closed his eyes, lips pressed tight, but he didn't speak. That silence cut deeper than any lie. I shoved past him, keys still in my pocket from his truck. My hand hit the door. His voice stopped me. I turned. His eyes were glass, mouth trembling like head lost the words. Finally, he managed, "You're the fire I'll never put out. That's why I can't keep you." I couldn't breathe, couldn't move. His confession burned into me, sweet and brutal. I opened the door, rain washing over me. I didn't look back. If I had, I wouldn't have left. The road swallowed me whole. Rain eased, but it left the world raw, every color muted, every sound sharp. I drove his truck because my own car felt like another life I didn't own anymore. The flannel still clung to me, heavy with his scent, and every breath dragged it deeper in. I stopped once at a turnout, staring down into the valley. The town was a handful of lights below, small, suspicious, already chewing on Tanner's rumor. Somewhere in that dark, Whit sat in his kitchen, pretending the fire between us hadn't happened, pretending silence was safer than truth. I leaned on the wheel until my forehead hurt. My phone glowed with missed calls. I wouldn't answer me, Father. The office, unknown numbers. The only one I wanted wasn't there. The rain started again, softer, like a whisper I couldn't quite catch. I imagined his voice in it, low, steady, almost breaking. "You're the fire I can't keep." Headlights rose in my rear view. For a moment I thought it was him, changing his mind. The truck passed without slowing. My chest collapsed anyway. At the edge of the ridge I killed the engine. Night pressed close. The only warmth, the flannel I hadn't returned. I thought of leaving it on his porch tomorrow, folded neat. I thought of keeping it forever. Both felt like betrayal. If he turns around, I whispered to no one, "I'll run back." The road behind me stayed empty. I sat until dawn smudged the horizon, silence heavier than the storm had ever been. And still I didn't start the engine.